Hello everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. I have yet another super long video for you guys. Let me go over all of the products I'm using because there is a lot for these three cards. I'm going to be using the Cardinal Blessings 6x6 stamp set and the coordinating die. That's one of our very first stamp sets that my grandma helped illustrate. I'm also going to pull in the Spring Birds die set for my second card design. And then this is the main pop-up die that I will be featuring today. I'm going to show you two different ways to use this die. You can completely close it so that it is more of a home decor gift, or you can have these cards fold flat for mailing. So I will show you how to do both with that die set. Then I'm going to pull in one of the best sets that we have, which is the Assorted Christmas Leaves and the layering Cardinals that we brought out 2 years ago. And then the Christmas roof add-on. I will be using the string of lights and the roof that has the snow on it. So I definitely am using a bunch of different sets from several different Christmas collections. This video was actually filmed several years ago, and I just never got around to posting the video because I actually made these 3 holiday cards during a spring collection when I was promoting the A7 Pop-Up Birdhouse die set. And I did plan to keep the footage and use it for that Christmas the same year, but I never got around to editing and voice-overing the video. As you can see, it's very long. These cards were pretty time-consuming, but I kept the footage because these cards are beautiful. I knew I was going to come around to it at some point, and that point is today because I thought it was perfect to showcase all of these different Christmas products and the birdhouse, which is a spring product, because they're all a part of our early Black Friday sale. So you can use code Early Friday 25, all capital letters, for 25% off. The sale was supposed to end tonight, but because I'm getting this video up late on Monday, I'm going to extend it to Tuesday night. We will also have the same sale this Black Friday weekend, but I want to tell you guys now because several products have sold out. I don't believe any of the products I'm featuring in this video are sold out, but I know the Cardinals that you'll see at the end are very close to selling out. So definitely take advantage. We have never done 25% off. We're able to do it this year because we moved overseas. We can have some bigger discounts. There will be some more specials for Black Friday weekend, but the main sale is the 25% off. So I would take advantage of that now. Several products went on pre-order because you guys went crazy this weekend. So I do want to thank you guys for supporting my small business. It's very crucial this week for us small businesses in any industry, but especially the crafting industry. This is like the week we really have to hunker down and promote our products, and because we have to be seen amongst a huge crowd. So if you haven't yet and you want to support my little business, I will have all the products I use linked below. Like I said, everything's 25% off, excluding the new collection. So I am going to focus this week on some older products, just like this video, because it's important to give older products some love too. And if you have these products already, I'm excited to give you some more ideas. So here you can see I am coloring my grandma's set. This is the Cardinal Blessings 6x6 stamp with various Copic markers. And this was actually one of the very first stamp sets that we brought out. So this one holds a very special place in my heart. I don't think I'm ever going to retire it because it is such a pretty stamp, and I've used it a bunch. Now I'm pulling an embossing folder and the base die that's included in the A7 Pop-Up Birdhouse. You'll need 2 of these. So I went ahead and embossed 2 of them, cut them from heavyweight craft cardstock. Now I'm going to go around the edges of both of them with vintage photo distress ink. All right, and as I'm doing this, I'm going to keep talking about Black Friday. So Wednesday, we will have an exclusive offer for the Advent calendar. We have some left. We really want to sell through them because it's not really a product we can sell next year. So there's going to be a huge discount on the calendar for 24 hours only. And then we will have Black Friday weekend will be the same 25% off special. There will be free gifts. Our mystery bags, which are very popular, we'll have a limited amount of those. And then we'll have some Cyber Monday deals. So very busy weekend. I will be packing orders. I will be promoting heavily this week. So if you guys want to see anything Christmas related this week, just let me know. As you can see, oh, I guess I did not use the coordinating dies. I think it's because I did not want the white outline. So I did fussy cut them, and then I went around the edges with a black marker. Now, the die comes with this oval that I just stamped in. I used a sentiment from the Cardinal Blessings stamp set. I think it's Joy to the World. And I'm going to gold heat emboss it. I cut the oval from a dark brown cardstock, and that's going to be the hole, or I guess the window, inside my birdhouse. I also cut the roof details, and then there's a smaller window for that smaller part of the house. I also cut those from dark brown. I think the embossing and the ink blending on the edges add a lot to this card. I think it's really pretty. But you can see my birds are going to kind of be scattered around the birdhouse. So I am happy with the layout that I had there. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing things down. I did double up the sentiment and also this top window piece. You can see I'm using just some scraps of heavyweight cardstock to go behind. I want these to be raised because around the sentiment I'm going to build a wreath. So I wanted to tuck my greenery branches underneath the sentiment. Now I'm going to bring back my cardinals, start laying out everything, and it's definitely missing something, so this is where I start to use the pieces from the Christmas roof die set. So these string of lights are meant to go on the roof of our Slimline Pop-Up Birdhouse die set, which is another great set that's on sale this weekend. But you can cut apart the lights to work with anything. So you'll see I'm just going to paper piece all of my light bulbs onto my string of lights. I cut the string of lights from a heavyweight green cardstock, and then my light bulbs are cut from gold glitter. And I'm just going to cut apart this die to work with the roof line for my birdhouse. So you can see I already kind of trimmed it up over in the corner. I also cut some of the snowy roof pieces from the same die set. And I'm just going to trim it to work for my birdhouse here. They will overlap in the center. That's totally fine. I'm sure I'm going to cover that up later. Even if you don't, it's really hard to tell that those are two separate pieces. All right, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. And that piece that I just cut is the top part of the roof line. So it's like that little triangle piece, which I'm going to glue right in the center, I believe. Yeah, you can see that that will go there. And then I'll use the other parts of the roof on the left and right side. I'm adding my glue to the string at the bottom, that horizontal line. And then I'm going to glue this to the back side of my birdhouse. So it's tucked behind the snow. And then I will add some more snow and more lights to that top roof piece. So obviously you can create some really cute springtime birdhouses with this die set. And I do also have more footage. I have lots of footage that just never made it to my YouTube channel because I have such limited time typically to post content because I always have to keep drawing for my next releases. Next year I'm definitely slowing down my illustrating. I would like to just do 4, maybe 5 collections, but they're all going to be much smaller than I've done before because I do want to have time to promote my collections more. It's hard because I do travel a lot now and I just have less time for everything, but I am really enjoying this time because my Christmas release was the last one of the year. So I have about a month longer typically than any other collection in between where I can do more of the stuff that I love the most about my job, which for me is filming and creating content and inspiration for you guys. So, I might bring back some of these older clips. My next video is actually going to be a fall card, which I thought would be nice to have something like Thanksgiving related this week. So yeah, we'll see. I always say I'm going to do less, like I'll do smaller collections, I'll do less collections, but then I end up not doing that. So we'll see. But I do have to kind of prioritize my time differently because I've signed up for so many shows next year. I am going to have a schedule on the shows that I'm attending by probably the first week of December. I have to nail down my classes, and I'll also post the different classes that I'm offering very soon on my website if you are curious. So here I'm creating that wreath that I talked about, and I'm doing it but with some branches that I just cut apart from the Christmas leaves die set. I chose one of the pine branches. I chopped it up into several pieces. You can see there's different shades of green there. And I'm just going around the sentiment, kind of framing it in. And then I'll go one circle around, and then I'll cut smaller pieces to kind of fill the wreath and make it fuller. And then at the top, I'm going to add a red bow. I thought that was kind of cute. That red bow, I'm not sure where that's from, but I have brought out so many tiny bows and so many sets. I'm sure you can find one. But I love that Joy to the World gold embossing in the center. It pulls in the gold from the lights. Now I'm going to finally glue down my birds and my wreath. And then at the bottom, I felt like this little bird needed to be grounded, so I just have a strip of brown that I'm going to add down there. It's slightly darker. It matches the roof pieces. I'll just trim it. And I don't think I add anything else. Oh, I will add some gold pearls to the wreath. And I guess I end up adding another snowbank. Again, this is the same roof, snowy roof. I'm going to add that to the bottom. I think I just wanted a third area of white. And I think that's it. I'm just going to add some gold pearls. I'm also going to tuck some leftover greenery behind this bottom cardinal. He was the only bird that did not have greenery already on him as the stamped image, so I figured I would tuck some more greenery behind him. All right, and then here are the gold pearls. Our embellishments are also 25% off, and this weekend we will have buy 3 get 1 free for embellishments. Okay, so now we can actually build the pop-up. So I cut 2 of these base pieces from the A7 pop-up birdhouse die set. They're the exact same piece, die cut twice from craft cardstock. I'm going to glue them together, creating this one long piece. You can see I already reinforced the score lines here. And then I'm going to add glue to the remaining tab and close each end, hiding the glue tab on the inside. And that creates this simple little box that can fold flat to the left or to the right. I'm going to reinforce the score lines. And that's very simple. This is going to get glued to the back bottom part of the birdhouse, that large section. First, I will add a solid craft piece behind this embossed one. Now that I am looking at this footage, I do think I was using 65-pound craft, and that's why I added that extra layer to make it more substantial. All right, now I'm going to take my box, I'm going to add glue to one side of it and line up my decorated birdhouse piece on top of it. I'm making sure that you're not seeing that box from the sides or the bottom or the top. I'm hiding it behind there as best as I can. Then I'm going to take another base piece. This one is embossed and ink blended the same way. You can leave this actually non-embossed, and then you'd have a better area to write a message. But I end up just adding a solid piece to the back side to make it substantial again. And then this will be glued to the back side of the box. So I'm going to add my glue here. I am filming this in real time. I did not speed this up. This is a nice, fairly easy pop-up to assemble. So I'm going to line up the back side, trying to line it up as close to the front as possible. And there we go. We have a standing card, but we're obviously going to close the top so that it looks cleaner. First off, we're going to create another box, just a smaller version of that. This die is also included in the main set. This box is going to go behind the top part of the birdhouse, that smaller section up there. Again, I have two of these pieces, going to glue them back to back, adhering the glue tab to the inside so that you don't see it. Then you can see how that's going to go inside. So I'm going to go ahead and close this off, tucking in that glue tab to the inside, and I have another little box. All right, I'm going to pull in my base, and this is going to go in between the front and back layers, hiding between or hiding behind that top part of the birdhouse. Again, making sure that you won't see this on the sides or at the top. You want this to be hidden, but it does not have to be perfect. All right, perfect. Now, the Popup birdhouse die set includes several roof pieces. I cut all of those from a darker brown cardstock, and I'm just reinforcing the score lines here. And the first roof piece I'm going to take is the largest one, and this is the same mechanism as the attachment for the roof of our storefront. So again, right now I'm just reinforcing the score lines. I did slow down the video. You can see that there's this top glue tab that I'm currently folding. You want to glue or fold that back and forth. And then you have your side glue tabs. So the right one, you can see I'm folding down, and then the left one I'm folding up. So you want one going up, one going down. Doesn't matter which of the two, you just want them going in this Z formation. You want them going in opposite directions. You're going to add glue to the outside of each of those glue tabs and stick it at the top of your birdhouse, lining up the point of the roof line with the angle of the glue tab. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you'll see when you add this in that the angles will match. Then there is that glue tab at the top we haven't done anything with yet, but that tab will actually attach the roof piece. So I'm going to add glue now to the top of that, and then I'm going to take the long roof piece, which is this one. It has a center score line and just two small score lines on the left and right. I'm going to line up that center score line with the edge of the score line on that mechanism. So here, I'll show it again. I ended up taking it off for whatever reason. And oh, I know why I did that. I think I decided that I wanted this card to not fold flat. So I'm going to add glue to those tiny little squares, and those will attach to the front and back wall of the birdhouse. So if you want this card to fold flat, you would actually cut those squares off and attach this roof exactly the way I'm showing it right now. So lining up those score lines edge to edge, and then you would fold this flat and crease that center part of the roof line very well. I think the reason why I am now gluing it solid shut so it will not be able to fold flat is because when I attached it the first time and folded it flat, I realized that that cardinal at the very top of the card was interfering with the folding. So if you want these cards to fold completely flat, do not exceed the top of the roof line too much with whatever you're decorating. It wasn't a huge deal because I knew I wanted some of these solid anyway. And the second card I will show you how it will fold completely flat. But I did also just show you how you would do it if you do want it to fold flat. But I did provide you with these little squares to make it nice and easy if you wanted these to be more like home decor pieces or little gifts. So right now I added glue to the squares and I'm just holding it until everything is dry. Technically, if you don't want this to fold flat, you don't even need that connection piece. But again, I didn't know that at the time. I wanted it to fold flat. I wasn't able to, so it's hidden in there. Now, there's also these side roof pieces. These will go on the bottom part of the birdhouse. So I am adding glue to all of the tabs. And I guess I only added glue to the very edge of the score line on that top glue tab. And it's kind of hard to see on camera, but I am lining that up on the rectangle box that's inside there. See, here we go. We have a better angle, lining up that glue tab all the way up there. And then again, if you want this to fold flat, cut those squares off or don't add any glue to them. That way it will fold upwards like you can see here. Or it could fold downwards. And you attach the right side the exact same way. So I added glue right along that score line above the score line. And I'm lining it up with that box. I think it's the box above the smaller box. Then I can pull these tabs down, add glue to those little squares, attached each square to the front and back side of the birdhouse. And that is it. So basically, if you want this to fold flat, cut off those squares and only glue the top glue tab to the box above. I feel like I'm over explaining it. It's much easier to look at what I'm doing versus me trying to explain it. But that's it. There is my finished little box. And here are some close-up photos. This shows the embossing a lot more. I think it turned out really cute. So now I'm going to show you guys the folded down version. And I'm going to use this little bird from the Spring Birds die set. And I'm cutting him apart a little bit. I cut him from white. And I think I wanted some more layering pieces. So that is what I did with those. I think I'll use them later. I have another base piece cut from white, and I'm going to add shading to him with some Copic markers. So in my nativity video, I did some Copic coloring on my die cutting, so I was surprised to see this because I made this years ago. But this did add a lot of dimension to my little bird. So we have another gray piece that will go below the one we just added. I think for his tail and his feet, I went with that dark almost black color. And then I'll take a fine liner and color in his little eyeball. And in this same die set, there's another bird. He's like a little chubby bird. That's also very cute. Adding some white gel pen highlights here. So either of the two birds would be cute. Okay, so I am pulling in another older die set. Now this one I know is sold out. This has been a retired product. I don't think I'm ever going to bring this one back, but I'll show you the die set in case you have it. It's the Fairy House add-on. This one also coordinates with the Slimline Pop-Up Birdhouse. I'll pull in just some random snowflake dies. These ones happen to come from the Snowflake Spinner die set, but you can use whatever snowflakes you have. And then we have the roof die again. This one is very useful because there's so many different light options and the snow hills, which are nice and skinny for these birdhouse projects. All right, so I'm paper piecing the door from the Fairy House add-on. So the outline is dark gray, the center part of the door is white. I have a silver window that I'm going to add to the top and silver hinges. I don't believe I add a doorknob. I probably will just make the doorknob a pearl. But I thought instead of doing a window like I did on the last card with the sentiment stamped inside, I like the idea of doing a larger door because my bird is quite large. And here I have a light blue heavyweight base piece for my birdhouse. I'm going to use the Slimline wood grain die just to add some more texture. Now there is a layering piece to this die that has a wood grain texture on it already. So I don't know why I opted to go for this option because you can see it is still a die. It kind of cut through the base, but it's fine because I'm just going to glue it onto a solid white one. But yeah, I didn't really need to do that because the birdhouse die set has layering pieces that are also wood grain. I think I just wanted maybe this solid light blue and I don't know. I can't explain what I did 2 years ago because every year my crafting style evolves. But I am going to go around the edges with some light blue ink. I think this adds some nice dimension. And I'm pulling in a white pearlescent watercolor. I think white gouache would be better for this technique. I was trying to make the look of snow, but because it's silver metallic, it's silver metallic. It doesn't really look like snow, but it did add some nice texture regardless. I cut the roof pieces from dark gray, adding more splatters. Again, white would just show up way better. It would look more like snow. But I'll go ahead and add my door now. As I'm adding things, I'm adding more splatters. You can kind of see when it hits the light that it is pretty. It's just not super pigmented. Okay, now I have some more oxide inks. I'm going to add some shading to my various assorted Christmas leaf die cuts. I'm using, I believe, Lucky Clover and probably Shabby Shutters here. Just doing some quick shading. You can do this also with Copic or alcohol markers. It's probably easier, actually, to use markers. And for some reason, the lighting is kind of weird here. But I think I'm going to put my bird to the right side of my door and just tuck in a couple greenery stems. Like I said, the assorted Christmas, all of our leaf sets are my favorite because you can just tuck so many sprigs. It fills the card. It adds a lot of interest. Most of my door, you can see, gets covered up here. I also have some silver sprigs that I tuck in. I'll bring back my watercolor splatters. I did take off my bird, so the only thing that doesn't have splatters is my bird. And I'm happy with that, so we can start gluing things down. All right, and I will pop up my bird with 2 heavyweight white die cuts behind him. I love doing this, you guys know, for my main focal points. And then I think all I add is a little window at the top of the birdhouse. And here I have my snowy roof pieces. You can also easily create these just with your scissors, but I like that pop of white. I'm going to add some snow to the bottom as well, just below my greenery pieces. So I'm not going to add lights to this one, just the snow. Okay, and then here are my snowflakes. Cut those from white and silver glitter. I just kind of spread those around. And then I have the sentiment, "Let It Snow." I'm not sure what stamp set that's from, but I did stamp it in black. All right, and there is my decorated birdhouse. So now we will build the base. So I have 2 of these base pieces. Again, this will create the larger box. This is cut from heavyweight blue paper. I'm gonna glue back 2 of these back to back. And then I'll connect the ends together, folding in that score line, or sorry, glue tab, to get this box. And then I will glue this behind the large bottom part of my birdhouse, just hiding that behind. Then I will create the smaller box for the top of the birdhouse. And if you want, you can cut the top off if you want it to be an A2 sized birdhouse. With that top added on, it's 5x7 size. But I did add a back piece that has the same blue shading. I don't think I ran it through the wood grain. I think that is solid, so I can write a message on the back. Now I'm going to create the smaller box with the smaller base pieces. Going to connect 2 of them together to create one long one, and then connect the ends together, gluing the glue tab inside the box. All right, and then that will be glued behind the top part of the birdhouse, making sure it's hidden between the 2 pieces. All right, then I cut my roof pieces from dark gray, reinforcing the score lines, and I'm going to start with the bottom roof pieces. I'm going to start by cutting off those square pieces. We don't need them. We want this card to fold flat. So we're only going to add glue right on the top of that glue tab, right along or right above that score line, and we're going to glue it to the bottom of that box, that smaller box that we added to the top. So you can see how that is going to fold down. You are going to want to crease it. The more it is creased, the better it's going to lay onto that roof. So you can see how that is going to fold. Now we will add another piece to the other side. This is the same die. Going to cut off the tiny little squares. I'm going to add glue right above that score line on the glue tab. Line it up to the bottom of that small box at the top. I have to be more patient here. I have to let that dry. So here, I end up doing it again. All right, and then I will let it dry before I try to start folding this. Or at least that's what I should have done, but I'm not taking my own advice here. But here, I have it folded down. Gonna make sure that's nicely stuck and give that a nice crease. And then you can see how perfectly it kind of goes back into place when the card is upright. So now I'm going to add my connection piece. I did that Z fold. One tab is facing down, one is facing up. I will attach it to the top, lining up the point of the roof line with the angle of the glue tabs. Then I have this longer roof piece. Again, I'm going to trim off those squares. Those are only there if you want this to be solid, if you do not want it to fold flat. Now I am folding down all of the score lines, and then that center score line I'm going to line up with the edge of the score line that's on the connection piece. So it's going to look a little bit crazy. You do want your glue to dry before you start folding things down the way that I am. Definitely just be patient here. And if you're worried that your roof isn't laying flat the way you want it to, that is because it needs to be creased. So once your glue is fully dried, or even better, if you're using double-sided tape, then you can fold it completely flat. You can see I'm giving it a nice pinch at the top, and now my roof is sliding right into place when you open it up. So here, I'll show that again. Here it is, completely flat. That's how it would go in an envelope. At the end of the video, I will show this card in an envelope. And that's it. You can see the roof just pops right into place the way you want it. And it's such a cute, easy card to assemble. I always suggest with all of our pop-ups that you take some cheap, like 65-pound or even copy paper, and build a simple base. Do that until you are confident. So it might take 1, 2, maybe 3 attempts. And then you can start mass producing these. So we're on to our third and final card. This one I wanted to show you what you can do with the die. So here is that wood grain layering piece. I cut the base from white and that layering piece from white. I want this to be tone on tone. And that layering piece cuts the window out. And I want the window to cut through the base as well. So it's almost like you can kind of see inside the birdhouse, and you can add your birds inside. I've done videos on that. You can put greenery inside. It just adds more dimension. There's also a die that will cut the window out at the top, so I'm going to do that. But I use those layering pieces to get an idea of where to cut these through the base. It's not going to be perfect, but it's good enough for me. Now we also have to cut a window through the box that's going to connect the two pieces and create the pop-up. So I have it again lined up behind my birdhouse base. I'm going to try to line up the window behind this. And here I just give up and I'm like, okay, this is as good as it's going to get. And then I'll run it through. I'm using tape to prevent this from shifting in my die cut machine. This was pre-Empress, so I did not have the magnets yet. I have now the top window that I'm going to line up with the small box piece. And then we will run that through the machine. All right, so now we have a completely see-through birdhouse. Everything else, all of the roof pieces, I'm going to cut from a dark red cardstock. So I guess I show you all of that here. And I guess this footage is a good way for me to point out what all the roof pieces are. So this piece with the two shaped roofs, that's just decorative for the front of the birdhouse. That piece with the two squares in the center, that is the roof that is at the top. This piece that I'm adding, you need 2 of those for your birdhouse cards. that will create the left and right side roof piece for the bottom of the birdhouse. And then this last piece is the connector, and you need one of those. So this actually would have been more helpful to have at the beginning of the video, but at least you're seeing it now. All right, and then I'm also going to cut a couple little poinsettias from this red cardstock. I honestly don't know what set that poinsettia is from. But now I have my cardinals. I cut the base of the cardinals from bright red. I will have a medium and darker shade of red for their feathers. Their beaks were cut from gold mirror, as well as their feet. And then you can see I have some white die cuts over on the right side. Those will be layered behind for dimension. So I sped through this. I think I've shown these cardinals paper piece in previous videos. They have to be by far the most popular Christmas die set I have ever illustrated. You guys love these cardinals, which I'm not surprised. Cardinals are just a beautiful image for Christmas. I think their bright red color, you just don't see that in nature very often. So every year I try to make a cardinal card with these birds, and they are the perfect size to put 2 on one card. Most of my other bird sets, I make the birds larger, so you can really only put 1 bird on a card, but these are smaller. You can put both of them on. They're just so cute, and I love them. And this is the one set I can confirm we are very low on them, and these ones were moved overseas, so they will take longer to come back in stock if they sell out. Everything else that's already on pre-order and that will most likely go on pre-order, I can get within 2 weeks. So we put that we would start shipping December 19th. We might be able to ship sooner than that, but just to be safe, we're going to say the 19th. All right, so I'm just adding the little feathers. You honestly don't really need to even add the feather layers because they're so cute. Just as the one shade of red, I think. Right now I'm going to add those dimension layers behind, and then we can start decorating our birdhouse. And this one out of the 3 is my favorite. I am obsessed with red, white, and silver. In this case, I think I do gold, perhaps. But that is probably my favorite color scheme for Christmas. I have the branch. This branch is included in the cardinal set. I cut the branch from craft, and I'm just adding pearls to look like berries onto the branch. Now I have pumice stone Distress Oxide ink. I'm going around the edges of my wood grain layering pieces. It's a nice warm gray. And then my base is cut from heavyweight white cardstock. So it'll be pretty tone on tone. The gray ink definitely adds a little something something to this. I'm going to go ahead. You saw there I kind of laid out my scene. Now I'm going to glue it together. I do have some more snowy roofs that I think I cut from white glitter cardstock. Here I have my decorative roof pieces. I'm just using a paperweight. To adhere to everything. Then the die also includes these cute little frames that you can add around the windows. So I am triple layering them for dimension, and the top layer is gold. So yeah, I wasn't sure if it was red, white, and silver or red, white, and gold, but I went with gold. I'm going to add those. They're kind of like a scallop frame around the edge of my windows, and that adds a lot. I think that's really cute. I think there's also included a solid frame that you can add instead. Below my large window, I'm going to add this rectangle piece that's meant to be kind of like a bird perch. Also cut that from gold. Or is that craft? That might be craft. Then I have my berry branch. I'll have one bird on the branch and then one will just be sitting on the roof. Here are my snowy roof pieces. Again, you can make these easily just with your scissors. Actually, this is white cardstock, but I think I go in with glitter later. I will add a snow hill there at the bottom. So here's that glitter that I was talking about. This is a chunky prism glitter that I believe Art Glitter Glue makes that glitter. But I'm adding it to my snow hills and sprinkling my glitter on top. And I got some more greenery from the Assorted Christmas Leaves die set. I'm going to cut apart my berry branch a little bit. I think I wanted some berries behind the top cardinal. But here, I thought a touch of green was needed just to add another bit of color. And I'm going to also add glitter to these leaves. Okay, so I guess I add that berry cluster to the bottom. But I am taking my greenery pieces and I am just lightly going over the tips of the branches with my glue here. I'm not covering the entire stem, just the tips of the branches. This glue is going to dry clear, so right now it's white. When it dries, the chunky glitter kind of looks like glass glitter, but it's shinier because I think there's iridescent glitter mixed in with it. So it's really pretty. My mom and I tested out 3 different types of glitter in one of our lives together, and I think she said this one was her favorite glitter, and now that I'm looking at this footage, I'm like, yeah, it is really pretty. So again, I think this is glitter made by the same company that creates Art Glitter Glue. So I'm just sprinkling that on. All right, now we can officially glue everything down. So my branches are still wet, but you'll see in the finished photos, you'll see the glitter better and it's really pretty. And again, with those open windows, you can tuck the birds behind the window. I have some videos posted for this birdhouse where I think I did add some stuff behind the windows. All right, we have more greenery that I think we're going to add to the top behind my fatter cardinal. And I have my poinsettias also over to the right side. I'm going to stack up these flowers. And I think I add a gold pearl to them. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and glue this cardinal down. And then I'm going to tuck some more greenery behind this cardinal. I just love the Christmas leaves set. And if you have our fall or our spring leaves, you can do the same thing with spring, obviously with different seasoned images. I did add my flowers, and I think in my past life, I must have been a flower arrangement person because I love kind of building clusters and flower arrangements. So we're gonna do the same thing. I leave this footage in because, you know, I sell pop-up dies. I want there to be as many tutorials out there as I can offer. And if you've already got the point, you know how to do these by now, you can always skip through this footage. But we're building our box again. This one has the window cut through it. So on the very back wall of that box, that's where you can add more greenery or your bird, whatever you want to do. Then we have our smaller box connecting the two base pieces together. I am going to trim this glue tab because I don't want it to be shown through that window that we cut. Now I'm going to add glue to my larger box, line it up behind the front of my birdhouse. I'll do the same thing with the smaller box. And then I will close the back with a solid birdhouse base piece. And then remember earlier we had all of our roof pieces cut from that dark red cardstock. So I am going to reinforce all the score lines on those pieces. I'm just adding my little berry cluster, and I just think that layout is so pretty. All right, I have all my roof pieces. I'm going to start with the bottom side roof layers. So this card I'm going to keep completely attached. The main reason I'm doing this is because I bring my cards to trade shows and they get handled a lot, and I'm really glad that I closed this one because this is a very popular sample in my booth that everyone wants to touch, everyone wants to see. So I usually display this one, and then next to it I display a birdhouse that folds flat so I can show them like, hey, you can mail these if you want. But this sample was just too pretty for it to be constantly folded up and down, and then the roof would probably get detached over time. So yeah, but I am, you know, attaching these roof pieces the exact same way. This time I'm allowing those side pieces to fully dry, so good on me. Once they're dry, I can go back in, add glue to those little square pieces, fold it down, attach the front square to the front of the birdhouse, the back square to the back of the birdhouse. Again, I don't know why I added that connector piece to the top with that Z-fold, because if you are creating an attached roof, you don't technically need that piece, but it's good to get practice in. So I have this final roof layer, reinforce the score lines. I'm going to line up the center score line of the roof piece along the edge of the score line on the connection piece. Again, if you want this card to fold flat, do not glue down those little square pieces. But in this case, I am going to glue down the square pieces. And then that is going to finish off my third card design. So thank you guys for tuning in to another long video. I usually like to try to add shorter videos in with my longer ones, but lately they've all been very long, and I do appreciate the time that is spent on my YouTube channel. A lot of you are watching my videos and are not subscribed, so I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button. If you ever want to be notified when I go live or right when I post a video, you can hit the bell notification. Here are all 3 of my card designs. Let me know which one's your favorite. Obviously, the third one I think is spectacular, but they're all really pretty. Here I'm showing you that blue card. You can fold it, you just have to be a bit gentle here. I do suggest if you want to create a foldable birdhouse, avoid adding, even that snow hill I added did interfere a little bit with it folding down. You can see it's fine if you're gentle, but if you didn't have anything along the roof line, it would fold much easier. But you can see it goes in an envelope just fine. It pops right into place. I love this die. I wish I had more time to promote it when it came out, but I'm glad that I was able to kind of revive this footage and bring it out to you guys. I will have everything I used linked down below. Remember to support us small businesses during Black Friday. It's so essential for us to thrive and continue bringing out product for you guys. So remember to use code EARLYFRIDAY25. That lasts until tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. If you miss it, it's totally fine. We will have the same sale going on Friday. I'll have more video content for you guys and more information if you have any questions. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.